The air crackled, rain threatened, perfect for a strong cuppa before the chaos of the day began. Detective Inspector Harding, a man married to his job, relished the quiet of his mornings. His wife, Eleanor, would be up soon. He liked to imagine her asleep, a picture of serenity in their chaotic world. Today felt no different. A typical day, or so he thought. Harding finished his tea, the bitter taste lingering like the unsolved cases that haunted his sleep. He pulled on his coat, the worn leather a familiar comfort. He was the best there was, solving puzzles others found impossible. His personal life, well, that was simple, stable, predictable. Or so he believed until the knock on the door. The word swam, divorce. His Eleanor wanted a divorce. It was impossible. They were solid, a team, weren't they? He reread the papers, each word a nail hammered into the coffin of his complacency. He had to talk to Eleanor, now. He found her in the kitchen, her back to him as she made their usual breakfast. He watched her for a moment, the familiar curve of her neck, the way she tucked a stray strand of hair behind her ear. How had he missed this? How had their life become so routine that he hadn't seen her unhappiness? He spoke, his voice hoarse. Eleanor? She turned, her eyes red-rimmed. The sight of her vulnerability, something he rarely saw, was like a punch to his gut. He held out the papers, his own face a mask of confusion and hurt. "What is this, Eleanor?" he asked, the question echoing in the small kitchen. She looked at him, her gaze steady. "It's what it seems, William. I want a divorce." His mind, usually a steel trap of logic and deduction, stuttered. This was not a case he could crack with his usual methods. He searched for the right words, the right approach, but found nothing. He was a detective, for God's sake, not some clueless husband in a bad play. Yet, here he was, staring at the woman he loved, a woman who looked at him with a weariness that chilled him to the bone. "Why?" he finally managed, the word a broken whisper. Eleanor sighed, and in that sound, he heard years of unspoken frustration. "You wouldn't understand, William," she said, her voice flat. "You never have." Section 4, missed clues and silent cries. He wanted to argue, to plead his case, but what was his case? That he was a good detective, that he provided a good home. He saw now, with painful clarity, that he had viewed their marriage as another solved case, another tick on the board of life. He thought back to their life together, his mind replaying countless evenings. He saw himself buried in case files while Eleanor sat across from him, a book in her hand. He remembered her attempts at conversation, her questions about his day, met with his distracted grunts. He had been blind, too focused on the puzzles of his job to see the unraveling of his own life. The signs were all there, he realized now. The way she stopped suggesting weekend getaways, the way she no longer waited up for him after late-night stakeouts. He had dismissed them as trivialities, failing to see the silent cries for attention, for connection. "I want to understand," he said, his voice rough with emotion. He deserved her anger, her frustration. He had failed her, failed them both. He had always prided himself on his ability to read people, to see through their facades. Yet he had failed to see the pain in the eyes of the woman he loved. He saw a flicker of surprise in her eyes, a hint that maybe, just maybe, there was still a spark to be rekindled. He had spent his life solving mysteries, bringing justice to the wronged. Now he faced his toughest case yet, a case where the only victim was their love and the only witness his own oblivious heart. "Eleanor," he began, his voice softer than he thought possible, "I know I haven't been the husband I should have been. I've been so focused on my work, on being the best detective, that I forgot how to be the best husband, but I want to change that. I want to understand. Give me another chance. Let me prove to you that I can be the man you deserve. He didn't know what the future held, but for the first time in a long time, he felt a sliver of hope. He had spent his life solving other people's problems. Now he was determined to solve his own. He would use all his skills, all his intuition to win back the woman he loved. This was one case he was determined to solve, no matter the cost.